GT Ogunye is still on set with us, and the whole Naira redesign, which should have been a simple issue. In fact, the Naira redesign is no redesign, but that's a totally different subject. It just looks like the color separation was adjusted. People in advertising know about color separation. You got 4 sheets. You got four sheets of film. You put them on top of each other. They come out with color the way you and I know it. Take away one, and there'll be a variation. That's what was done. I don't know. I wasn't there. And they're calling it a Naira redesign. But more importantly, they then prevent Nigerians from, that is, when I say the policy, the action, then prevents Nigerians from spending their own money. Their own money. Nigerians are dehumanized. There are people sleeping at ATM machines. Yes, you can trust the dramatic in our people. There are people who are now doing praise worship at ATM machines. If they are Muslims, they are doing their rukus in there. The point being that we are here. We don't know when it's going to...
No, it's not drama. People are not overtly dramatic. Really, people have been very tolerant. And that's why people say that Nigerians laugh, they smile and all that. They're happy-go-lucky people and all that. We've been tolerant. Okay? Now, we now have a situation of people now stripping themselves naked in the banks.
Well, that was...
the Tunisian situation where, somebody burned himself and then that triggered the Arab Spring was almost going to come here. Okay? It is just that psychologists do not have sufficient work in our land here. Until people, strip themselves naked and go to the market, they are not certified in the estimation of the people as ravingly mad. There are many weary alasho because of the system.
Yeah.
Those who are mad, who have been turned mad by the system, by deprivation, economic hardship, and etc. in this country.
Unfortunately.
And so those things that you see are a direct reflection of what people are going through.
That's right. Let me bring in Reverend Dominic for holding. Thank you, Reverend Dominic, for holding on. Good morning.
Good morning, Yori. Good morning to your guest.
Good morning.
Yeah,
good morning.
Yori, listen to me. I'm not surprised at what is happening. For over a year or two ago, most of us, George, and my friend, all of us moved in London here, we knew that there's a plan on the ground to make sure that Ashwaji don't become a president by the elements from the north. But the surprising thing about this, Yori, I'm a pastor, I'm not a politician. The surprising thing about it is that Buhari, and the truth must be told, Buhari, which myself as a reverend, as a pastor, defy my religious stature to campaign for him. And Ashwaji, whether you like it or not, can we call a spade? Ashwaji forsake his own ambition that Mr. President become a president. That now he put in every impediment that this man not become a president. If he wins this election on Saturday, it will be a miracle to the first century. No party on earth demarcates himself through this election and win that election. And if he wins this election on Saturday, I wouldn't know what I would call Nigerians. I went to bank this morning by 7 o'clock, and my wife was telling me, why are you going too early? When I get to bank 7 o'clock this morning, I couldn't park my car. I had to call my accounting officer. He said, sir, you have to go back. Because there's no space here, there's no money here. I even cannot, access my money. I'm hungry now, so I'm still talking here. If I am hungry and my status in this nation to say the truth, how much more the market woman? I don't have food in this house now. And you think that if I don't have food, I will go and submit to a party that costs me this pain. If I try to win on Saturday, it's a miracle. And we have to congratulate our brothers in the north. They have done well.
Yes.
But whatever you do, God will must prevail. And let me just say, Yuri, when I heard Mr. President broadcast from Ethiopia, I laughed. What is urgency? We are in war here. You went to Ethiopia, start broadcasting in Ethiopia, telling us who to vote and not to vote. What kind of government is this? Yuri, in 2015, all of us said that the good luck government was kindergarten. What we call this government? What we call this?
Well,
is it primary? Is it infantry? What do you call it? Where a party is working like this itself. Today, there's 3 APC, the Ashwaji APC, the Malawi APC, the CBN APC, the Buhari APC. Where does this happen? Thank you, Nigeria.
Thank you very much for calling in, Reverend Dominic. Now, this policy, they must have known when they were doing it. All the presidential candidates, Obi, Atiku, Tinubu, and all the rest of them, were not going to be affected by this. It is the masses, the teeming masses where the numbers are, that were going to be, maybe they didn't think of it as would be punished, but they are the people suffering. Just let's spend a few moments. Give me your understanding of Tinubu's position on this, where he was also appealing for calm and also stating that he was actually not against the policy, but as you yourself stated at the beginning of this, it's just the execution that could have been better.
I think I read that position. It was statesmanly, mature, and very measured. Statesmanly, matured, and measured. Tinubu as a candidate is walking a tightrope. The leader of his party is the sitting president, who, in spite of what appears to be a disagreement on that issue, still go on the campaign stump to lift his hand and, it's a huge theater.
It's really, huge theater. It's almost like the theater of the absurd.
Yes.
Almost.
So whatever he says, he has to, and then he then has to walk the fine lines to ensure that, okay, God will take us to Saturday. Nothing must be done to ensure that this is scuttled. We'll see what's going to happen, and so on and so forth. I don't pity him. Really, I don't pity him.
No, the president is in a bind.
Let me just say this. And this is important that we say this because we want to be put on record. If you study Nigerian political history, perhaps that's maybe the only fascination that is there. The issue of political unity has talked a checkered history. And so, in the 60s, the dominant political group in the North was not able to be on the same page with the dominant political group in Western Nigeria. Awolowo, was anti-feudalism, very hot on those issues, and wasn't going to have any agreement with them. And he suffered a consequence. He was reloaded into prison. He was freed, and all that, and all that. The MPC, NCC, alliance didn't survive. By 1964, UpGuard come up with Okpara and the rest, now going back to say that they're leaving the whatever. So when the 1994 general election occurred, Azikwe, as the president of Nigeria, hesitated before calling on Tafawa Balewa. So we've had that. In the Second Republic, we also had that kind of thing. This is the first time in 2015 that the dominant political group in Western Nigeria will embrace and then try to come together. If that kind of experiment does not work, it can have impact on our country moving forward. I'm just saying this. So I don't think that what I've seen is that whereas this experiment started and everybody said, oh, this could be good, then that means you coming together, the first opposition party winning election and all that. Ghana has done that, all that, and all those things. I mean, the administration had everything going for it when it came into power, in spite of those who didn't vote to elect the president. The president, right from the beginning, started nibbling at a platform that he could have solidified. The president went to the United States, for example, and he was asked a question, softball, at a think tank group. Now, certain people didn't vote for you in this election. How are you going to bring people together to work? Of course, a statement will say, of course, I'll bring everybody together. I'm the president, I'm the father of the nation, things like that. No. Unmasked, the president just said, well, how do you expect me to leave those who gave me 95% and be working for? So right from that moment, the president, had not had it right. But for me, what is important in all this discussion is that our people deserve better.
Exactly.
Our people deserve better.
Because I was going to ask you, following from all of this, how do we now begin to pick up the pieces? It is what it is. But we still have to get on. President Buhari has till the end of his tenure, which, is not all that long.
Our people deserve better. However, there's a way in which people of the left...
Oh, I beg your pardon, please. I heard there's Alhaji Subaya on the line. Alhaji Subaya, apologies. Good morning to you, sir. Sorry to have kept you waiting.
Yori, but apology taken, but my credit has been waited for a long time. Anyway.
Sorry about that, Alhaji. Alhaji Subaya calling in from Alimosho.
Exactly.
Please go ahead, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much. First of all, let me appreciate your guest.
Thank you, sir.
He has said my mind. He has said a lot of things, especially to Nigerians. He has said a lot of things about the insincerity of the President Muhammadu Buhari to his party and insincerity of President Muhammadu Buhari to Nigerians. You understand? So it is so painful, the way we saw ourselves. And the unfortunate aspect now is that even our president disobeying the Apex Court ruling. You understand? That is why I said your guests have said a lot of things. In fact, Apex Court, by his position, he tried to salvage the mess the president Emefiele and the president has caused Nigeria. But unfortunately, you understand, they didn't listen to him, and that is why, on this note, and maybe your analysts, your guests will even say more about it. That is why, for one, I didn't expect any miracle tomorrow. The Apex Court is going to meet tomorrow, but I didn't expect anything, for anything in a miracle, anything, any new, to solve our problem tomorrow. Because Nigeria, with the way your analysts have said it, it is not the right time. It is not expected as the president. That is why he has said a lot about the president's sincerity to his party and his sincerity to Nigeria. And kudos to the Nigerian governor, northern governor, for standing upright, against their party. And I'm happy to hear from your guests too that, the president is being isolated on his own call. He's on his way. But by and large, I'm appealing to Nigeria. Saturday is nearer. Let us endure so that destruction will not help us. Because, like my brother Yori said, the motive of President Muhammadu Buhari is known to him and God. But unfortunately, it's his own motive, because I don't see why he should be behaving to us in this way. His own motive is known to him and his mind and to God. But I'm appealing to Nigeria to exercise patience this Saturday. Let us try our best and endure. God will save us from this wahala.
Thank you.
Bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And once again, Alhaji Subaya, apologies for holding you up all that long. But as it is, because there are some things that you were saying that I wanted you to land on.
Everybody has been impacted negatively by this, at least the vast majority of our people. And for me, people play politics with a lot of things. Because when this thing started, a lot of say, yes, the president was right, including those who never saw anything good in the president. He now became their hero, yes, and all that. And I say, why? But now everybody has been impacted. And I urge Nigerians in Lagos particular, to know this. There are certain people of northern extractions selling grocery in traffic, fruits, and all that. Most of them, preponderantly from the northern, ordinary people. They've not been selling. They've not been selling because people don't have money to. So if they're selling like that, lay-by and all that, is that where you want to be doing transfer?
Exactly.
Is that what we want to be doing cashless?
So as Tinubu said, he's not against this, but it should have been done differently. It could have been done differently. Certainly not try to pressure cook it into the few weeks that it was going to take. What was wrong with having this?
The high and mighty have also been impacted, not so much the ordinary people.
Yeah.
I reference Chief Edwin Clark, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, who publicly declared that he bought 200,000 with 250,000, or with 50,000 naira. He said it on air, on Arrest television.
Yes. Because it was the only way he could get hold of it. Is it the new note or the old notes? Because
I've done so too.
You have also had
to
actually be. You have allowed yourself to be extorted.
I've been in court, and a judge said that, what do you mean? You think that we are not taking judicial notice of what is going on? I'm a judge. I have not held, in the past 2-3 weeks, I've only had 1,000 naira with me. And I sit every day. I work, I conduct trial. So what do you expect me to do? To go and be chasing ATMs? Or you think that judges don't spend money? Mm-hmm. Everybody has been impacted.
That's why.
And so that's why I'm saying, look, I repeat, stubbornness is no courage, and rigidity is no principle. They are different. When it doesn't take anything away from you. People are not going to say the President Buhari will not be less a president.
No.
If you were to kowtow and bow to the interim relief granted by the Supreme Court, this Attorney General will not be less an Attorney General. In any case, maybe people don't know. This Attorney General will perhaps be the longest serving Attorney General in the history of this country.
And as you know, this Attorney General also would be president. He also wanted to be president, just to throw that in there.
Yes.
Between Attorney General and the governor of Central Bank.
At the end of the day, when they leave office, people will ask, Attorney General, you were there for 8 years. Elias was not there for 8 years. Mm-hmm. Ajibola was not there for 8 years. I had to go to Hague. Okay? Bayojo was not there for 8 years. Akpango was not there for 8 years. And so Bola Ige was not there for 8 years. He was even killed as an Attorney General. But you, 8 years now, what have you achieved? I mean, people must rise. People must do what is right by their country.
Well, I've got to leave it.
Because I don't understand all this. Why must we be taking through all this ordeal?
That is why
because you want to prove that you have power to exercise,
and
then you leave us in the hands of a CBN governor to be insulting us every day, to be setting up his banks. This CBN governor left any bank for the CBN.
That's right.
Was he not concerned when he saw bankers of his banks, any bank, scaling the fence? Was he not troubled? I mean, but we go into an election now, and that's how we anchor, sir. We go into an election.
Sorry about that. Let me quickly squeeze in. And sorry, Peter, but that is exactly what we must do. Go ahead, Peter, calling in from Magodo. As brief as possible, please. I didn't want to not take you.
Yeah, my name is Peter Chigozie Wallach. I'm calling you from Magodo Phase 1 here. I just want to contribute to this program because all of us, we are in this mess. From the onset, when Buhari came in, I gave him my vote in 2015, thinking that things were going to change, But it is very, 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 very unfortunate that ever since Buhari came in, it has been one issue to another, and he's a father figure. It's very, very painful that Buhari will see people suffering, like people dying, even a life, one life. I don't know why Nigerians don't value life. Just one person like this, nobody cares. This is something that I'm begging him in the name of God. If there's something he can do, before it's too late, he should do it because people are dying, people are suffering.
All right then.
That Tinubu himself, that is an innocent man, this thing now is coming to affect him. But I pray that God will, in His infinite mercy, will soften his heart, and then those around him that are trying to make this thing to be.
Okay, Peter.
I don't know.
Okay, Peter. Thank you very much for calling in. Really appreciate your call. But that's as much of the time that we had. So we end, and I still didn't get a question that has been bothering my mind, which is what was the motive of the president and Governor Emefiele in arranging this whole thing anyhow?
What was the motive of the president in tolerating Emefiele when he wanted to be a president?
And also giving the Attorney General his job back.
Yes.
After he had come out and bought the form.
Yes. What was the motive of the president?
So
the motive is out there, writ large. It's there. It's clear. So I'm not going. You wanted me to answer that question. I knew from time,
yes,
but I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay. So we're going to have to leave it here.
I think that by deduction and inference.
That's the best we can do.
By deduction and inference.
Okay.
The lawyers use very much.
Yes.
And judges use in adjudicating.
Yes. In
evidence that you can deduce, you can infer. The motive of the president should be clear to everybody. I'm not going to answer that question. But whatever the motive is bad for the people of Nigeria.
There you go.